Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel for Peacefully Wired. My name is Matt, aka Peacefully Wired. And in this video, I want to talk about the difference between acting and behaving. There's a big difference, right? Before I go any further, please like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you think about my content. I'm really appreciating you guys' interactions and um, the recommendations or the asks that you guys are having of certain content that you'd like me to do. I really appreciate it. Keep it coming. I will say, please join the Peacefully Wired OCD community if you haven't already. Um, it's where this kind of content and more in depth, uh, is happening, right? And also uh, discounted rates, if you will, on doing one-on-one coaching with me. So if you're interested in joining the community, let me know. I can give you the link. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, please email support@peacefullywired.com and we can talk about that. So acting versus behaving. So behaving, you have to behave your belief before you actually can believe it. That's how you really work on recovering from OCD. Is you have to behave, right? Like you believe the thing that you believe that you are, despite having intrusive thoughts, images, urges, sensations, doubts about who you might be, doubts about your sexuality, doubts about your relationship, doubts about if you want to harm somebody, doubts about your health, all those types of things, right? So you notice it a lot, or I see it a lot anyways, when I see people act like they don't give an F, right? They don't give an F. They say things like, I don't give an F about my thoughts. I don't give an F about OCD. I tell OCD to F off. And that's not really behaving like you believe something. That's an act, right? They're acting like they don't care by outwardly saying to you or to me or to themselves that they don't care about something. But usually what you find is when people do that, just like if you were encountering somebody who was, let's just say you have a conflict with somebody, something on the road, something in the club, just out and about in life, you're at an event or something, and you have an encounter with somebody and you have a conflict. And that person, due to fear, starts going off on you, right? Let's just imagine that person is your OCD. And they're yelling at you and they're getting in your face. They're threatening you. Maybe they're even pushing you. Maybe they're getting physical with you. Okay. And the reason why they're behaving this way, right? It could just be you bumped shoulders and they dropped their drink on the ground. It could be they were treating somebody poorly and you were like, hey, leave that person alone. It could be you're at a game and they're just belligerent because they've been drinking. And you're like, hey, chill out. And they freak out on you, right? Whatever the reason, and they start berating you and get in your face, and they're right up on you, right? And they're kicking up dust and threatening you and all this stuff. Now, what a lot of people would do would be to engage back, right? And puff up. And fear will cause you to throw back at them what they're throwing at you. Oh yeah? Well, I'm going to do this, this, and this. You don't know who you're messing with, right? You got another thing coming, whatever. Fear will do that. And now you're acting, okay? And you might even be saying things like, oh, you don't scare me, right? This doesn't bother me. You don't bother me. Hey man, you're not bothering me. I don't care. You want to say all that stuff if you want to, you can say it all. That's acting. Right? It's the same like when somebody says, when you hear people say like, I don't give an F about what people think about me. I don't care if nobody, likes me. Like when people say things like, I don't give an F. I don't care what people think about me. Right? When you see them behaving a certain way and you're like, chill out, don't behave that way, or don't do that. Don't say those things. We're in a public place. Like, oh, I don't give an F, right? Those people usually care the most, right? And a lot of that behavior is just, it comes from, like a fear of being rejected. It comes from a fear of not being seen. It comes from, this weird thing of like not really knowing how to behave when you know you're behaving poorly. And instead of like dialing it back, you like go the other way. You just go 100 miles an hour the other way. Um, I don't know if you guys watch TikTok, but there's a person. His name's Dean. He's a young man, and I saw some clips that he had with this blonde haired girl so Dean's on the left, left conservative, or sorry, liberal, and this blonde haired girl. I want to say her name's Emily. She's on the right side, right? And Emily is oddly conservative and probably racist. She says a lot of wild shit. Now I don't know if it's because she actually believes that what she believes, or if it's an act, right? I don't know, right? She has this behavior though that I've seen in people to where they're so gassed up on what they think they believe because of just fear and ignorance and not really knowing a lot of things, right? They just don't really know. They don't really know how to communicate properly. They don't know how to express their feelings. And they definitely see like compassion, empathy, and maybe they're wrong as a sign of weakness. And so what people like her do, and I've heard her just go on these rants about individuals and say just really wild stuff. And it's this thing where like she can't admit that she's wrong or like be thoughtful, so she has to double down and go the other way, right? She has to behave even more poorly instead of going, you know what, that might be in poor taste. You know what, they can't. It's such a fear of like rejection and being wrong that they go the other way, which is the same thing with, someone who's in your face acting, right? Acting like they're gonna rough you up, right? Acting like they're the strongest person in the room. The loudest person in the room is usually the weakest person. Why? It's all due to fear. I need people to see me. I need people to pay attention to me. Why? Because if they don't, then I can't feel good about myself, right? I have a conditional acceptance on myself. People must look at me. It doesn't matter if it's good attention or bad attention. They need to be paying attention to me, or else I am worthless, essentially. So take that situation where someone is yelling back at you, fear comes up in you, fear, emotions, anger, and you parrot it back to them, right? And you go right back at them. That's essentially acting. You're just mirroring that person. So you're acting, and you might be telling them like, I don't care, I'm not afraid of you, right? And just trying to give back to them what they're giving to you. And this is how a lot of people approach OCD. They act like it's not bothering them. They say all these things, right? They talk out loud to themselves a lot, right? This doesn't bother me. F that thought. I don't care. I'm strong. I'm stronger than that. They might use all sorts of mantras to get OCD to back down by acting like they aren't bothered by it. But you can't really act, right? You have to behave. So you have to behave like it doesn't bother you. Behaving like it doesn't bother you is not doing anything. Behaving like it doesn't bother you is not talking out loud. Behaving like it doesn't bother you is letting that person shout at you, get in your face, nose to nose, maybe even push you physically, and just doing nothing. And I know that sounds like, well, what if this person attacks you? There's obviously a time and place to where you have to fight back, essentially. But it's not ever the case with OCD. You never have to fight back, right? Someone's in your face. If you truly don't care and they truly don't bother you, and you're truly, like, you might feel fear, right? Because we can have all of the thoughts happening. We can have all the images, all the sensations. We can have all the doubt, all of that stuff happening. But if we turn around and act out by, whatever it is, I don't give an F. This doesn't bother me. using other mantras. It could just be thoughts are just thoughts. My thoughts are ego dystonic. This goes against my values, right? That kind of like push away is all acting, because you don't really believe that. It's just something that you're using, right? If you really are not, if someone's really not bothering you, then you behave like they don't bother you. You probably just walk away, or you continue engaging in the conversation that you're in, or whatever you're doing. If you're watching the game, you just go back to watching the game. They could be in your face all you want. But if you're behaving like they don't bother you, that's a behavior that you're expressing. And that's how you have to approach OCD recovery. You have to behave like it doesn't bother you, which means if you're currently engaged with something and you're doing something, this stuff doesn't stop you in your tracks. You don't need to talk out loud to yourself. You don't need to do anything. You just behave like it doesn't bother you. You're doing some work. You're working on the computer. Intrusive thoughts, right? Smacking in the back of the head, whatever it's doing. You're just doing your work, right? Doing your work. Getting up, having a sandwich, doing whatever, right? The acting is when you start to stop and go, oh, no, I don't believe that. Nope, that's ego dystonic, right? Nope, that's just a thought. That's all acting. I'm not afraid of this. Nope, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. That's acting. Behaving is nothing. So hope that clears that up, guys. Again, please like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about the content. Join the Peacefully Wired OCD community if you're interested. Let me know. I'll send you the link. And if you're looking at doing some one-on-one coaching with me, it is support@peacefullywired.com, and we can start working together. All right. See you guys in the next video. Peace.